BNG Administrative Services, Becky Edwards. Great to have you here, Becky.
Thanks.
So you have over 30 years as experience as an administrator, and you've created the company BNG Services. Primary focus on offering diversified administrative support to local businesses. You're also a former chairwoman of the county board, and so Becky has had the opportunity to build relationships through working with a variety of governmental subjects. That included county management and operations, enterprise zone creation, budgets, employee relations, partnering with local communities in an effort to pursue business development opportunities. And prior to being a county chairwoman, Becky worked in the housing and construction industry in Florida, Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, and Illinois. And yeah, again, it's great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Former county chairperson in the studio. Really
yes.
appreciate having
Thank
you here. So tell me a little bit about the backstory behind BNG Administrative Services. Obviously, you have a lot of experience as administrator. Tell me about it.
Well, so initially, some 30-some years ago, I was the vice president of administration for a very large housing development company. And through that experience, of course, I was responsible for all of the applications that went before the state or federal government for the funding to build apartment communities, affordable apartment communities, very much like the housing like the Brookshires or the Hathaways that is out by the VFW, houses versus apartments. Throughout that time, I watched and then determined that Becky could do the same thing, opened her own business. So I became my own administrator, building apartments in a variety of states. And then once I came to Illinois, I got involved with Main Street. And I think if everybody understands a company, you have to have an administrator to make sure that everything goes the way it should, that things are presented properly to the outside world, words such as correspondence being written properly, anything that has to do with what the world is going to see or what your clients are going to see. And so BNG Administrative Services is just a leg of that, where I think that this particular community and maybe many other communities, I'm on a website, so obviously other people can be talking to me. I currently have a client out of Tennessee, so it just is, it's full circle in what I've done all my life.
So who would utilize the services that BNG offers?
Small companies, businesses that want to start up that haven't actually got started up yet. Could be independent professionals, could be lawyers, a private individual. I've got a couple of them that I help with, like, for instance, unemployment claims. Just any company that needs to have some help. Many of especially the individuals that are just professionals on their own, they don't have that ability to put out the correspondence or follow up with emails or do the marketing that's necessary. So that's what my company would do.
So yeah, and it sounds like too, you bring up a pretty good point that that it's not just for business, right? It could be for individuals.
Yes.
Going through other things.
I have experienced, and I've probably worked for several different people. It is amazing how there's websites, then there's processes that have to be taken. And a lot of people don't understand them, number one. Number two, they're older. They don't necessarily have a computer. It scares them to even think that, even to try to do it on their phone. So I do help them. I do it as at a discounted price too, just so everyone knows. But seriously, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. I really believe it's a serious problem in that there's too much for them to have to do, and they can't comprehend it. It's hard for them.
And that's where you step in.
I certainly will. Absolutely.
What kind of, well, let me put it this way. Do you, can you tell me a little bit about your past or current clients and how you with BNG were able to assist them, and in what capacity? So
right now I have 3 different clients. One of them was my larger one, and that's what I mentioned earlier. And he's in Tennessee. He is a real estate developer. He captures properties and puts them under contract. He then looks, and this is countrywide, U.S. countrywide. He then starts the process of reviewing the necessity for housing within the communities that he's purchased this property or put under contract. And then from there, he looks at the funding opportunities. And once that happens, then he'll send me a list of the different requirements that maybe a state or a federal or a local community may have in order for them to get particular funding. And that could be anywhere from finding out easements on the property to demographics to market studies, variety of legal documents that need to be placed and just anything that's necessary. And once that's completed and we're successful in him getting the funding, many times I'll help him with his due diligence for the fact of closing his actual loans, which is a lot of paperwork.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Well, that was for your big client too, right?
So yeah, and I do have a couple of clients that call me weekly, sometimes monthly, that want me to scan through their emails because they haven't looked at them or can't look at them. And amazingly, you get like 1,000 a week and determine if there's any that's of importance that needs to be moved forward. And I actually happen to use not a program, but a system that I was taught many, many years ago called Management by Objective. So I go in what I'm working on, and I have A, B, C, and D or whatever. And my A's may turn into my C's on the day that I'm there, or my B's may turn into my D's, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be. So that's very helpful to a client that needs to determine where he needs to be today and what he's behind on yesterday.
Can you look through my email inbox? Can you sort through that?
Only if you allow me to. I'd have to have access to do that, obviously, but sure, absolutely.
Really? So anybody could hire you, really? And
no, absolutely. There's a lot of companies out there that receive thousands of emails a day, and they've got to prioritize them in order to be able to service their clients.
Oh, I've got a job for you.
Yeah, and then there's all the junk email as well.
That's mostly what I'm talking about here. I need somebody to go through my junk email.
It is amazing, really.
Well, do you perform the work that BNG is hired to do in your office, or is that externally?
I have been fortunate to work out of my home office, and I have a home office that will look as good or be as good as anything you've got in an office, with color printers, computers, et cetera, et cetera. But I do not have a problem with going to someone's office and working in their office, or at least getting them set up and strategize as to how they can work better. And then whatever needs to happen can come back into my office as well. Okay. I mean, fortunately, we have email, we have Adobe PDFs, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how you do business anyway, back and forth.
Right. And that is located in Taylorville.
It is in Timberlake, and yes, it's located in Taylorville.
Okay. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, where can they go?
You can go to my email, which is becky@bngadministrativeservices.com, through my website, which is bngadministrativeservices.com, or my phone number, 217-825-6505.
That is owner of BNG Administrative Services, Becky Edwards, here on the WTIM Morning Show. More from her after this short break. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark.
WTIM. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly higher, beans double-digit higher, wheat trading lower. September corn $5.99.5 up 2.5. December corn up 3/4, $6.01.5. March corn $6.08 3/4 up 1 1/4. August beans up 46, $15.78 3/4. September beans up 28, $14.27 3/4. November new crop up 27 3/4. $14.11.5. September wheat, $7.96 3/4 down 7. December wheat down 6 3/4, $8.15 1/4. August bean meal $4.89.20 up 16.80. August bean oil up 86 cents, 61.28. In the livestock market, August live cattle $136.62 down 1/4. August feeders up 17 cents, $177.60. August lean hogs $118.30 up 132. In the energy market, September Brent crude oil up 87 cents at this hour, 104.97. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio.
Hello, I'm Dick Adams, the new Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. From helping Taylorville and Pana establish and promote their industrial parks to constant communication with existing and prospective employers, our ongoing work has helped grow and attract many businesses. Funding comes from both public and private sources and is vital to continuing our work toward attracting more jobs. Find out more online at Christian christiancountyedc.org.
This announcement donated by the Miller Media Group.
Rolling Meadows Senior Living in Taylorville invites you to make their home your home. Become part of the Rolling Meadows family. Applications for residency are now being accepted. Rolling Meadows offers seniors 62 and older a smoke-free facility with round-the-clock maintenance, controlled access, large kitchens with full-size appliances, on-site laundry facilities, complimentary Wi-Fi in common areas, and more. Call 217-287-2450 to schedule an appointment. Rolling Meadows is sponsored by Lutheran Social Services of Illinois and funded through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and Federal Home Bank of Chicago. Rolling Meadows is an equal housing opportunity provider.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of the Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
I'm Amy Hagan, co-coordinator at the Taylorville Food Pantry. During these tough economic times, as the cost of living has increased to a level not seen for many decades, the Taylorville Food Pantry continues working in Christian County to keep our families fed. This time of year, garden produce is welcome. Consider sharing your abundance with us. For more information on hours, donating, or volunteering, please visit us at TaylorvilleFoodPantry.com or visit us on Facebook. Taylorville Food Pantry, feeding hunger with heart.
This is Cammie Payne, General Manager of the Miller Media Group. We, along with TCCU, are proud to bring you the Community Spotlight each month.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Miller Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Your information station. WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. People's Bank and Trust proud to bring you this stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and on YouTube at WTIM TV. You can also go to you know what? I already said all that. I'm here with owner of BNG Administrative Services, Becky Edwards, and we're talking about, well, BNG. It's great to have you here, Becky.
Thank you, Avery.
So what are some of the reasons someone would hire BNG Administrative Services?
Well, as an example, I gave you the client that I use in Tennessee. He stands alone in Tennessee, but he works for a development company out of Orlando, Florida. But his goals and what he's set out to do is similar to what others within his office in Orlando do. So he's on his own. He actually works out of his home as well. And so he needs that assistance, doesn't want an assistant in his home, as an example, and has a lot to do. So he's a perfect example of someone that would need me to do the research that is necessary to keep him moving. And his projects are layered. So as he moves to one next section, I'm on another section. It could be a small company here in Taylorville that's just getting started that doesn't have the availability of understanding how to start their business. I could certainly do that for them. Has to do with possibly helping them with computers, correspondence, letterhead, and then just the regular companies like maybe even a GSI or an Alstrom that have projects that are out there that they want to get done and can't get done, and they hire me to do it for them. Or lots of overtime. They're tired of paying overtime. So you take the variety. It can go from what you ask the question because it's available. And on my website I actually detail several services that I can offer.
Are there industries you see more often through BNG than other certain industries? Well, BNG has not been in service. I haven't offered these services in the Christian County area probably in 3 months or so was when I actually started. So I'm looking actually for a variety. My background is real estate, but my real background is administration. So I really believe I'm comfortable in walking into any office and as long as I understand, sit down with them for just a few minutes, I'll understand, I can take it and run with it and I can finish it and y'all don't have to worry about me. Yeah. On a separate note, I've talked to a lot of people from the University of Illinois Extension office here in Christian County, and something they are doing and griping about all the time is they're griping all the time about grant applications and writing grants and stuff like that. And they say, man, it's such a chore to do all this. Obviously, they do it because it's, part of their job and they do that. But on your website, it does state that you can process those grant applications. What kind of grants are available and what would that process be?
Well, let me give you an example of what's what's going to be required from a grant, regardless of whether it's a local grant, a state grant, maybe even a federal grant. They're going to have parameters that you're going to have to follow. So they'll probably, in the past, they've probably prepared their own checklist. You need to do your own checklist. You need to conduct a review of everything that's required. The checklist could be minimal, like if you were doing business here at the city of Taylorville, very extensive to where you're going to end up with materials that are going to exceed a very large 3-ring binder as far as that kind of grant goes. It is difficult. There's a lot of questions asked, and there's a lot of information that they want. And sometimes it's just duplicated after duplicated. I will suggest to anybody that if they have a tab and it's duplicated, put it in there. Don't say it's duplicated in A, for instance. But they come in many sizes, very many forms. As I said, the city of Taylorville, I believe, has a couple of different grants for their business development district. State of Illinois offers for economic development as well for smaller businesses. And then, of course, the federal government has the Small Business Administration and the EDA, Economic Development Administration.
Is there a grant that you won't look at?
I probably would not be able to say that until I looked at it, but no, I would say no. I mean, what everyone has to understand is I can help them process that grant, but there's a lot of information that company, that individual, that department is going to have to collectively get together and put it together in order to then present it in the You have to kind of understand the state of mind of the people that are going to be looking at this grant. And so you need to actually compile your information accordingly.
Right. With that said, you will look at any grant, whether or not you're able to go.
I would review any of them for sure. I've not run across anything that has bothered me at all. I did one for the county after the tornado, prepared one for the county and the city of Taylorville. I worked with them as well. Very extensive, lots and lots and lots of information, but I had a great team and they helped me out with it, and we prepared it and sent it up and got it processed.
You mentioned the mind frame of the people looking at these grants and doling out that money. Could you kind of dive into that a little bit? What are they looking for in a grant application?
Money, typically money, some kind of funding, and hopefully they're going to find a grant that is not repaid, that it's given them the opportunity to expand. At the extension office, I don't want to talk about what they do, but it could be they want another new program to offer to individuals, so they're looking for that grant that will allow them to start that program. Most importantly, once you're successful in getting your grant, is the compliance. And there is compliance regardless of whether it's free or not. You're going to have compliance. And if you don't continue to conduct your compliance the way that whatever authority gives you that money or that grant, you will be in trouble. So the compliance is just as important as preparing the grant.
Is there anything else that you'd like to address with administrative services and BNG as a whole, or maybe something? Or maybe we just review a little bit about what you guys do.
Sure.
So tell me just a little bit about your services and how people can get a hold of you for those services.
Okay. So let me once again reiterate that please go to my website, bngadministrativeservices.com, and review the business services that I have on one of my pages. There's a variety that I've listed that will give you more of an opportunity to see if something that you want to achieve is within one of those categories. Administrative support is wide open as far as what that could be. Would love to talk with anybody that might need some help. Again, you can reach me at my office at 217-825-6505, or my email at Becky, BECKY, at BNGAdministrativeServices.com.
And again, that's BNGAdministrativeServices.com to go to the website. That's owner of BNG Administrative Services, Becky Edwards. Thank you so much, Becky.
Thank you.
Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. You can find those streams online on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. It's WTIM, your information station.
WTIM.